And I just noticed that Rachelle Fraenkel just came on, our beloved guest. She's not a guest, she's part of the family already of Congregation Bet Tefillah. We're honored to have you here tonight. Thank you also for waking up so early. I will share, I'll reveal to everyone that I was texting you just a few hours ago. What, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago? So she doesn't sleep. With all that she achieves, no wonder she doesn't sleep. One of the most influential Jews in the world. She loves it when I say that. So without any further ado, I will give over the stage to Rachelle Fraenkel, who will enlighten us this evening also as part of this Shavuot Learnathon. Rachelle, the stage is yours. One second, you're muted. Let me try to unmute you.
No, I'm okay.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We should have a mute button everywhere we go. So, Shalom, how are you doing there?
Excellent. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So happy to see you.
I mean, since we met last on Zoom, we all became very professional at this, zooming all over. I have this one corner of the home where, you know, it looks like the studio. They don't have to see the rest of the mess. I hear your rabbi never sleeps. He's there in body, but he's been sighted, you know, in South Africa, all over the United States.
Yeah.
He must be a mystic, you know, having these out-of-body travels.
Yeah, I learned from the best. I learned from the best.
Right. So I don't know what's doing by you, but by us, schools have started to open up. And how's it in Arizona?
Not yet. The schools haven't opened up, but businesses have started to open up.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So I actually wanted to say a couple of things about Shavuot, but before that, I just got this this quote from a Rabbi Israel Klein, and it struck such a chord that I must you know tell you a bit about this. What happened was the schools opened up, and we have to, you know, every day we send the kids to school, and every day in the morning you commit to checking their temperature, making sure that they're healthy, sending, you know, a mask, all those things. And every morning you have to write each child the health declaration. Okay? Now, what we all do is we go into the computer and we have this place, our smartphones, you know, remember all the details, and we, you know, I say to the kids, okay, let me touch your forehead, you're okay. And I go and I automatically, every morning they say, okay, so did you remember to do the thing? I did. And I just got this, you know, I heard what the client said. He says, I find myself every morning writing these zettelach. Zettelach is the Yiddish word for a note, for my children's teacher. Every day since they went back to school, now that they opened the school, it's almost 10 days now that I write again and again and again this declaration of health. And every day I write and I refill it with the date and everything. People tell me I can do it by computer, I can do it automatically, but I don't think, I really can't let go of this you know, little ceremony. This note, this kvitter, you know, another word for a note. It does tshuva for me every day. Every day I rephrase the note. One day I write, praise the, you know, he brings a few Hebrew verses. Hodu Hashem ki tov ki l'olam chasto. My son Shlomo is healthy and he has no signs and, you know, no fever and he's okay. The next day I say, with the mercy of God, my son is, you know, and every day I find new words to acknowledge and actually to realize, wow, thank God, you know. Hallelujah, my son is healthy. I'm sending him to school with full heart. And it turned it into a thing. I'm not going to just, check out the box on the computer. I'm going to take this second to think about it and find new words for this experience. He goes on and he writes, there's a mitzvah to v'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, to love Hashem, and one of the great expressions of the mitzvah, and here I am repeating myself, is to give thanks, to have gratitude, to acknowledge what, everything we get. And it's never enough. There's always so much that we get for granted, we take for granted, that these little corona ceremonies, they become like a new form of worship. Sitting down in the morning and writing this note that says, thank God my child is healthy enough to go to school now, and again and again. So it was very dear to me, so I really needed to share it. Since I write these notes, in a second in the computer without giving it a second thought. One of my favorite midrashim, stories from the Talmud, is one from and it's so favorite that I might have said it in Arizona, who knows, is a midrash from the Talmud Yerushalmi and Ta'anit. It's not the usually Babylonian Talmud, it's the one that was created in Eretz Israel, approximately a little bit early actually. And it describes this moment that all of humanity, all of history, all of the creation was striving, yearning towards this moment. This, how would I describe this? It's the kiss between the eternal and the mortal, the divine and the flesh and blood. The moment where it's like Leonardo da Vinci in the Sistine Chapel, except they get to touch. And the present that was prepared from before the creation is actually handed to human beings, and you can't under describe that moment. It's like all of history was just geared towards that moment. And in the Yerushalmi, they have almost a graphic, too little sleep for English, but a very, very graphic description of Akadosh Baruch Hu, God giving the tablets, right? These days you say tablets, you think of other things. God is giving the Luchot HaBrit to Moshe, and it's described as being 9 fists high. And God is holding the top 3, and Moshe Rabbeinu is holding the bottom 3, and the 3 in between. And finally, this transaction, it's happening, okay? And there's this moment in time where both are holding, and of course, this is such anthropomorphism. They describe God in physical descriptions to express an idea, and in that moment, in the peak of all events, there's noise, and they I have to say a million times, supposedly look down, and they see Chet HaEgel, the sin of the calf. Actually, while Torah is being given, there's idol worship going on right there. The descriptions of in the Talmud is actually it's hard to say it, but it's like a wedding is going on, and right under the wedding, under the chuppah, some nasty things are happening. It's hardly anything you can understand. So, in the description in the Yerushalmi, we have that moment, and then noise, and then they realize what happened, and instinctively God pulls back the luchot, and Moshe Rabbeinu pulls back. He doesn't let go. And then there's this moment of tension. There is almost a, how do you call it, tug of war, when you pull from both sides. And if you freeze that moment, you ask yourself, where's this going to go? You know, God is pulling on one hand, and Moshe Rabbeinu is pulling on the other hand. And, well, you know, it's not exactly a fair fight. But we know that it ended up with the Luchot in Moshe Rabbeinu's hands. So what happened there? And that's the picture, the way it's portrayed in Yerushalmi. But commentaries ask, how could it be? What was it in, because it's obvious to us that if the Luchot stayed in the hands of Moshe, it means that at some point God let go. And what was it in Moshe Rabbeinu that made God let go? And the Clear Kar says that Moshe actually had nothing to lose. At this point, you know, there was no retracting. There was no, he already tasted the fruit. He got there and he realized what the gift is. There's no way he's turning back. He was incomplete without it. So he pulled and he tried, and all of his effort and all of his desire went into it. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that effort, saw that desire, saw that you know, total devotion to it, so Hashem says, okay, it's yours. I gift it to you. In fact, it's very similar to when we read Ruth now on Shavuot, tomorrow. We're going to be reading how, by us it's Torah, by you it's the next day. We're going to be reading how Ruth and Orpah walk with Naomi, the two daughter-in-laws with their mother-in-law, after they lost everything. She lost her husband, her sons, her properties, her money, and they're walking towards Eretz Israel, and she tells them, stay here, I have nothing to offer you anymore. You know, no more sons, no more offspring. What are you going to get from me? You stay here. And at some point, Orpah hugs her and kisses her and says, I love you, but stays there. And Ruth insists, and she insists, and she insists. And at some point, Naomi lets go. At some point, Naomi says, okay. And the question is, when? The verse says, "Vatera ki mit'ametzet hi lavo." When Naomi saw the effort, the desire, the devotion, you know, that's the point where she said, okay, it's yours, it's your gift. That point in time where we all feel that we're incomplete without, where we feel that we have the true desire, we have the you know, we're all into it, is the point where processes happen within ourselves, but actually by the giver. They say, wow, so maybe I'll let go, I'll gift you this Torah. I found myself quoting this Agadita when we, a few months ago, had this tremendous event of Siyum HaShas. The whole world had Siyum HaShas, and we also had a wonderful celebration of Siyum HaShas for women. There were maybe a couple of 100 women that finished all of Talmud in 7.5 years. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. I was just celebrating with them. But thousands of women came to, and not only women, men, families, came to celebrate with them, saying it's our Torah. And when I was saying this Agadita, we were saying, you know, maybe we got to the point where we're now incomplete without it. Maybe we got to the point where our effort is seen and our desire is strong, and Hashem could gift it to us. But it's true for every Jewish man or woman, or when you get to that stage. You know, it's inevitable that at some point I'll say something about 2014, right? So let's just do it. How will we go at it? I'll start here. you know, there was a whole ordeal, and we all stood together, and there was eventually a tremendous funeral, like 100,000 people. And a friend of mine happened to have met Natan Sharansky in the day after the funeral. Now, Rabbi, can I ask you, is the sound good enough? Because
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you. I suppose so.
Okay, no, but
it's perfect. You're coming across perfectly. Beautiful.
Okay, great.
And you have a great voice.
Yes.
A lot of practice. So what happened was there was you know, like 100,000 people there, and then my friend met Natan. Now, we mentioned Natan just a few weeks ago when we spoke, you know, refusnik and everything around it. And Natan said, you know, when I was watching the funeral yesterday, or I was there actually, it felt to me like, in a sense, like Ma'amad Har Sinai, like we were in Sinai, you know. It's not exactly a simple association. They said, no, I mean, you know how we say that in Sinai, there's this expression, I saw you at Sinai? It's a dating site, I think. So he says, we always say that everybody was in Sinai. Actually, the verse says that. The people that are here with us today and the ones that aren't physically here, but all the souls, everybody was together in Sinai. And he said, when we experienced it yesterday, I felt it was that kind of experience, that there were 100,000 people there physically, and then there were everybody's souls, everybody's neshama, people from millions of Jews from all over the world that were also there, maybe not physically, but definitely spiritually. And then, you know, a while later, somebody told me, you know, I spoke to Natan, this is what Natan said, and I thought to myself, if it's reminiscent of, in any way, of Sinai, so what's the Torah that comes out of that? And one thing is to say, yes, we sit together and speak of unity, and like we always love to say, but there are also other aspects to it. And the other aspects have to do with the fact that, like we mentioned before, while the whole thing was going on, suddenly a noise and suddenly a terrible failure, and you know, we don't stay up there at the peak. In no time, we're ready, you know, busy doing our stuff. And there's something about that is also so typical of human life. You know, yes, even about unity. We felt such great unity, but within months we had elections and more elections and more elections. But it's not only that. It's the recognition that these peak events, these inspirational events, I learned how to say inspirational. They're there, but that's not where you stay. That's not what lasts. You know, you aspire, you fill yourself with oxygen, and you hope it's going to last for a few minutes. But every day is, you know, there's a lot of chet egel coming up after that, and something about that is in one way it's a failure, but in another it's how life is built. And the question is, so what do you do with those points in time? And what's the meaning of such peak events if we're going to fall? And not only if we're going to fall, if we're going to be disenchanted, if, you know, in the beginning we see light and we're excited, and then we're, you know, we're disillusioned, and we're routine, and sometimes we're disappointed. So what do you do with that? A lot of times we picture Sinai and Shavuot as a wedding, yes? And like in couplehood, people say, you know, tap into your memory of why you chose to be together. Tap into those wedding memories. They're supposed to inspire you in between. And here it's not just saying, oh, there was a moment there where I saw a light and I was so excited, and now, you know, in routine days, I'm not sure what I think about it. It's the deep statement that we say in Hebrew, Hakol bidei shamayim chutz mirat shamayim. Everything is, is actually decided by the heavens in a deep sense, except for one thing that the heavens, the divine, never interfere with. It's your choice to be, God-fearing, God-loving, to be in this story. And it's not only the choice, it's the memory of the choice. It's not only the wedding itself, it's reliving the wedding every Shavuot and tapping into that memory of being a free choosing person when those moments came, okay? So often people that had different lifestyles, and at some point in their life, they made major changes or gradual changes, and it's amazing. It's cyanide, it's light and fire and joy. And then there's routine. And then, things are complicated and life happens. Experiencing yourself as a free choosing person and experiencing those moments where you chose to that wedding is a key source in carrying it. And then there's, what the rabbi likes us to say, you prepare coffee every day for your wife. You do something sweet on a regular basis. You choose another mitzvah to invest in. You choose another piece of learning to commit yourself to, and you find the kind of learning, the kind of connection to Torah that nourishes your soul and that is special to you and suitable to you. Because you only learn where you desire, and there's a lot to say about that. Oh, and I said I'll speak shortly, and whoa, I've been speaking and speaking and speaking. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. You can continue on and on. We're loving it.
Yeah, as we said, we need a mute button. So, Chag Sameach to all of you.
Sameach, Racheli, thank you so much. If